quite up to par. There's Nick DeSantis to the playmaker in the midfield, Mauro Biello.
And a nice move.
Wow, that was a strong challenge by Saru, and Saru took the worst of that. And looks like he's going to take a few seconds to get up from that. His parents from Trinidad and Tobago. Saru grew up here in Toronto. Let's take another look at that one. And it's our buddy Nevio Pizzolito with a nice little move. Great little cut move by Nevio.
And there's a wide open player.
Darko Kolic.
And a great strike. Good first time strike. That is so hard to strike a ball on the first time like that.
And Lyndon Hooper was the guy to help things out. That's the second time he's helped.
And there we go. We got DeSantis up.
He's looking for some support, and he's not getting much, so he takes a great strike. Fantastic goal.
I was just going to say, why is he taking so long? But I might as well eat my words, because that's why he took so long.
And there's Pito Pizzolito, a little happy as well as all the fans in the stands of Varsity Stadium here. And look at the smile on the Brazilian. What a fantastic strike. He's looking, Helen, for support, but he's not getting any.
I would have expected him to take it right at the defender, but oh, that's even better.
As you can see, oh, what a fantastic...
What a great strike. He couldn't have picked the corner any better. And here we go again.
His 5th goal of the season, making it 2-0 for the Toronto Lynx. Every time you see that, and you can see Arango coming in at the end, it didn't matter. And
you know what? If you watch that, you can see that when you strike a ball, it's not about striking it hard, it's about striking it properly. And he didn't put a lot of power behind that. He just hit the ball right on the mark.
Zerton was just, he had no chance at that
Absolutely
ball.
No chance.
And here he goes again. Couldn't quite extend his right leg. And Montreal desperately trying to find some way to get back into this game. A game that they've controlled in at least many of the minutes here in the
first and second half.
It's got to be
frustrating, definitely frustrating for Montreal to be doing so well, you know, keeping possession of the ball, but yet to be down 2-0. 1-0 isn't as bad, but once you get down 2, and there's a bad foul.
That's a bad foul on Vinovich. And the yellow card being shown.
And rightly so, Scott. He was wide open. He was taken out. Definitely a yellow card for that one. And no hesitations by the referee there as well.
Let's take another look. It was a tough challenge here. Nick DeSantis, very well known for strong tackles, and boy, that was just
didn't even try to go for the ball. He knew he was beaten. He just wanted to slow him down, and that's exactly what he did. I think those are called professional fouls.
And here we go. The ball pushed in, but Montreal effectively pushing it out, but right back into the waiting feet of Milan Kojic.
And Toronto doesn't mind playing the ball back and wasting some time right now. With a 2-0 lead, they want to slow the game down.
And no one better to do that than Marco Retta.
Marco Retta and Kojic at the back. They're great on the ball, so composed. And there's Brian Ashton again, going in for the tackle.
And here's a strong run by Mauricio Vincella, but unfortunately runs into the defender. And back we go for Montreal, but just that second goal really seems to really hurt the confidence of the Montreal Impact. Seems to have
rattled the Montreal Impact team for sure. It's so hard. Like I said, when you go down by 2, you think you got to get 2 goals in. When you're down by 1, 1's attainable. But against a strong team like Toronto, to score 2 goals is tough.
Toronto with a nice strong move there. Barker to DeSantis, trying to get it over to Rango, but it was a good defensive play by Montreal, and Montreal get the free kick.
Nice run. Nice
pushing it out left.
And wide open. Oh, what a great save.
That was Darko Kolic with another great strike, and Zagar with another. Here's another chance.
Oh, my goodness.
Up and over the bar.
Oh, Zagar's got to be upset with that. What are those Montreal players doing with so much time?
And the person that you don't want striking the ball in that position is Darko Kolic. Here we go quickly with the replay.
What a great save.
Well struck ball.
Must be frustrating for Montreal, putting great strikes like that and to be denied by the keeper.
Corner kick in. Montreal trying to retain possession. Little back heel there that didn't work. And Hooper's there to scoop it. Simple soccer.
That's what I
by
like
Lyndon
to see.
Hooper.
And the nice ball forward.
DeSantis trying to pick out Arango, but I believe there was an offside call there.
Lyndon played that so well on his first touch.
DeSantis had the right idea, but unfortunately, Arango offside.
Brian Ashton getting involved in everything. That's what he's good at.
Lloyd Barker with a strong challenge, but Montreal. Let's go down to Ray Williams on the sideline with Coach Valerio Gazzola.
Coach, it was a close game. Now it's 2-0. Gotta be proud of you guys.
Well, they're playing well. I think we had some bad luck. You know, they got 1 or 2 shots. And obviously, on our side, we haven't had any luck in putting the ball away, but we got our chances.
Now, with so very little time to practice, how do you prepare for this game?
Well, I think this is a starting point for us. I think we're going to remember this game and build from it.
Thank you. Back to Scott.
Thanks very much, Ray. As we continue with Toronto with possession and the free kick. Taken short. Vincello. A patient little play there. That's a frustration foul event.
That definitely is a frustration foul.
Nevio usually plays right in the back, but is pushing up a lot in this game. Here we go again. Watch, he just grabs them.
Yeah.
Vincello.
Pizzolito knew he was beat.
There's a lovely try there by DeSantis. He'll try anything to put the ball in the net, and he's very successful at it.
It's so nice to watch him play because he's your typical Brazilian player. He's a lot of fun to watch, and he's a great goal scorer like we saw earlier in the game.
13 goals last year to lead the Toronto Lynx, and of course 5 goals to lead the Lynx this year. A very strong acquisition by the management team of the Toronto Lynx as they look to go 6-0-1.
Looks pretty good so far, Scott.
All right, let's go down to Ray Williams, checking out what's happening at the bench with the Toronto Lynx. Peter Pinizzato, take it away, Ray.
Peter, it's a 2-0 game. What are your thoughts on the game so far?
Well, you know, the second half it's much better. I think Montreal is a little bit tired after playing last night against Rochester. So I think second half we are playing a little bit better. We're putting a lot more pressure on defense. So they're giving the ball away a little bit more in the second half than in the first half.
Did you make some adjustments at the half?
Well, we basically asked my players, since they played last night, is to put a little bit more pressure on their defense, and my midfield is to put more pressure on their midfield. And I thought in the first half they outworked us, so that was the only thing I told my players.
And it's paying off. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Peter. And Montreal trying to get back into this game, but it's going to be tough. 2-0 Lynx, as you see on the screen.
And I'd have to agree with Peter there. Like he said, in the first half, the midfield wasn't winning the ball for Toronto. And I think that's where they've really picked it up a notch. Their central midfield players winning the ball a little bit more, getting more involved, and that's the key to their game. They were completely bypassing the first half. A lot of long balls, bypassing the midfield, and now we see they're using the midfield and it's working.
There's a look at Canadian international Mauro Biello. He's second in team scoring, as you see, 3 points.
And he's a great playmaker, Scott.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Zerton caught way out, and look who it is.
He's not too flamboyant, is he, Scott?
What a fantastic player, and Peter, of course, is smiling now.
Oh, he's got to be smiling. He's got to be happy with that.
And last night's game for Montreal and Rochester must have really taken a lot of the legs out of the Montreal Impact. And here we go with Vincello with the free kick.
nice touch. Oh,
He always knows where the goalie is.
so well placed. And you know what? That's all it takes. It doesn't have to be difficult. He just pops it over the keeper.
Three-goal performance for DeSantos.
So much
Fantastic.
experience. You can just see it.
Toronto Lynx goal, his 6th of the season and 3rd of tonight's game, scored by number 27, Francisco.
There's a hat trick for DeSantos.
This will be very tough for Montreal. They must be disheartened because they had a great first half, and then all of a sudden Toronto, with specifically DeSantos, doing all the work, it seems, scoring all the goals, all three, as Toronto up 3-0.
And Montreal was doing so well at keeping him quiet at first, but he finds a way to get in there, Scott. He finds a way to beat the defenders, and he's done that.
And we should make note of the new rule. The goalkeepers can run with the ball, as you saw Theo Zagar do. They have 6 seconds to lose possession of the ball, but they can run all over the box there, so that's something new. A little interesting to see a goalie do that.
Nice quick passing there with the Montreal players.
Pincello getting rid of it quickly because he had pressure.
As a defender, that's what you have to do. There he is. There's the goal scorer.
DeSantos, of course, played in the Brazilian League, Americana FC, and Botafogo as well. Sabradino as well. And he also played some time in Switzerland as a professional. So he's been around. He obviously knows what he's doing, Helen.
Oh, no doubt about that, Scott. I mean, you just watch him. He's so confident on the ball. Sometimes you just wonder what he's doing, but he's just absolutely phenomenal out there. So flashy, and he's fun to watch. Typical Brazilian player.
There's Montreal with it in, and there's Darren Tilley with a touch. And that quickly makes it 3-1, and they grab the ball and run it back to the center half. And Darren Tilley does what he does best, gets in front of the net and pushes the ball into the net.
It's a good cross in. Great cross. Darren Tilley probably shouldn't have had that much open space there as well.
He got in between the two defenders and used his muscle and his power in his legs as well to guide that ball past Theo Zagar.
And we have another booking.
And obviously, based on our graphic there, it looks like perhaps we didn't actually see the referee call that offside, but from our angle, it didn't look it, but unfortunately, it looks like it's still 3-0 Toronto. And here we have our first substitution, David DiPlacido, Toronto native. Taking off the veteran, Lyndon Hooper. DiPlacido can play up front or midfield. I'm assuming he'll play more of a midfield role in this particular time, Helen.
I would say they would put him in there, play more of a defensive role. They don't need to attack now. 3 goals is more than enough to win this game. Toronto just wants to slow the game down, not waste too much energy, play some nice, simple soccer, keep the ball on the ground.
This A-League 2000 broadcast is brought to you commercial-free by Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide, and by Umbro, only soccer since 1924.
And it's that time once again. The Lynxster wants you to go
And Ryan with some quick little turns and against the ball.
To receive free donuts courtesy of Tim Hortons.
Montreal just looks completely deflated now, Scott.
Back out to Marco Retta. And Vinovich comes back and does what he does best, control the ball.
And a great switch.
It's a beautiful switch as he pushes it to the middle. Pincello, wide left to Adrian Saru. Arango, which we haven't really talked about much during the game. He hasn't done a lot, but he hasn't had to do a lot, to be honest.
And you're playing beside someone like DeSantos. You don't really have to do much.
Nice
A
little
nice touch. And there's the strike I was talking about.
Fantastic strike and a great save by Zerton. Going for a corner. DeSantis with a little bit of a knock there and looking at the referee, hoping for some sympathy, but I don't think he's going to get much.
I don't think he's getting much from the ref. Looks like he's holding his ankle.
Vinovich taking his time for this corner, as he well should, for the Toronto Lynx, with just over 16 minutes left in the game.
Doesn't look good for DeSantos right now.
He really looks like he took a major knock there. That's probably why he was so mad at the referee. As the physio comes over. Montreal can't clear it. Sloppy clearance. Lloyd Barker pushes it to DiPlacido. Can't get a touch. Ashton wins it. And it's pushed back to the center.
Ashton doing well to get his body between the ball and the player.
There's DiPlacido with his first touch. Adrien Sarrou punches it left.
Oh, it might get a little dirty now, Scott.
These games always, as we've mentioned, always very tough battles. And when it's 3-0.
When it's 3-0. You just give it your all. You're so frustrated as a player when you're losing by that score and you've played a decent game. Nice slide tackle.
Wow, that was tough in by both players there. Montreal wins possession though. Nick DeSantis punches it wide left to Darko Kolic. Kolic puts it in, but it's very easily pushed away.
Yeah, that was a weak cross there. Had no chance of getting by the defenders.
Patrice Leduc with a try from way out, but that is not going to go by Theo Zagar, who's just been playing fantastically all season for the Toronto Lynx.
And today, he's definitely shown that he deserves his starting position.
Any other game, you'd probably be named man of the match, but it looks like our friend Francisco DeSantis.
That's a tough one.
Scoring 3 goals. There's DiPlacido protecting the ball well and pushing it back to Vinovich, who pushes it all the way back.
Oh, of course. Toronto's just trying to waste some time now. They're just slowing the game down.
Wide left to the 21-year-old Argentinian.
I'm surprised that at this point, Montreal wouldn't be pushing more men forward. They're losing 3-1. They have nothing to lose.
And that's a relief for Peter Pinizzato and all Toronto Lynx fans to see DeSantis back on the pitch right away.
Fans, if you are celebrating birthday or another special occasion,
Definitely don't want to have Dos Santos out of the lineup, that's for sure.
And here we have a first substitution for Montreal. Nevio Pizzolito coming off, and Chris Stathopoulos, an excellent playmaker and scorer. He plays both indoor and out. We've seen him play in the indoor all-star team in Edmonton. And did very well there.
And I'm assuming they're just trying to get a little bit of a scoring punch in there. Nevio more of a defensive player. Stathopoulos known for being more of an attacking player. So good move on the Montreal part.
Vinovich with the move. Loses possession, however.
Nice little touch there.
Captain Limniadis tried that, but of course, who's there? Milan Kojic. There's a punch in the middle, and look at this first time. He'll try anything to score a goal. That guy is a fantastic finisher.
Those are so hard to hit, you know. You don't realize how difficult it is to hit a ball that's coming over you like that. Great attempt. He's just having fun out there now, Scott.
Absolutely. You can tell by the smile on his face every time he makes a move like that.
Located outside section W to claim your prize.
Darren Tilley playing really far back now, Scott.
But keeping it on the ground, punching it out to Patrice Leduc. Normally that wouldn't have been a bad ball, but at this juncture of the game, the Montreal Impact are very tired based on last night's performance in Rochester, where they lost 2-1. They are very tired at this point, and the captain, John Limniadis, with an uncharacteristic giveaway like that. And another uncharacteristic giveaway, and Nick DeSantis with a decent try. You're going to have to do a lot better than that to beat Theo tonight. There's Adrien Sarrou. Nice throw out to him.
And loses possession there, but they get it back.
DiPlacido, the substitute. His second season with the Lynx. Nice save by Montreal.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was going out.
And DiPlacido probably called for the foul. Yes, Montreal with the possession now with a free kick.
Look for Owen, line of Umbro boots July 1st at local soccer stores.
Nice defending.
Saru, who plays in the back midfield, but also can push forward very effectively, as we've seen throughout the day. Nice try there for Toronto, but they get the throw in. Saru's played very, very well on the left side. Very composed, has some nice moves, nice touches.
Some great
Lynx
moves.
fans are invited to attend the 34th annual Chin International Technical Skating Weekend. Headline musical entertainment.
We look like we have a substitution or two. DeSantis out, and Nebojsa Vinovich, the older brother of Nikolai, coming in.
I guess DeSantos done his job, Scott. No need to have him out there anymore. It's a good move by Coach Peter Pinizzotto.
Jocelyn Waugh coming in for Montreal for Patrice Leduc. DeSantis finished for the day, and I think he's done his job, Helen.
Oh, most definitely. Good move by Peter, like I said. You don't want to keep your star players out there, especially when it's going to get a little bit, could get a little dirty out there. Nice cut back. And he gets the call.
And the smile on Lloyd Barker's face, because he knew he was nutmegged there and he wanted to do something about it, so he fouled the player, and away we go with Montreal, punching it up the right-hand side. Darren Tilley is back to the net.
Nice turn.
Nice turn with a left footer. David DiPlacido flicking it out.
Like you said, Scott, it's going to have to be a better strike than that to beat Theo today.
Zagar with the second best goals against average in the entire A-League. This is going to help his cause. Of course, as mentioned, it is 3-0, not 3-1. It was an offside call on that particular play that Darren Tilley punched the ball into the net, so it's still 3-0. Toronto lose possession there, but they don't really care at this point because they're kicking the ball out of bounds and they're wasting some time, Helen.
Well, they want to take a breather. They don't have to work towards, I mean, they're winning by 3 goals. No sense, working and getting tired and risking getting injured, so they're just going to play it nice and simple.
A quick look at the strut of the Lynxster, the Toronto Lynx mascot. He's strutting around kind of like DeSantos is now.
Well,
There's
DeSantos
Waugh.
for good reason.
Jocelyn Waugh punches it back. John Limniadis goes wide. Limniadis has played on the Canadian national team, World Cup qualifiers for the last 3 World Cup for Canada. He's also played professionally in Greece. Born in Athens, actually. And here's Nick DeSantis on the left-hand side. Tries it in.
Could have been a miscue there for the Toronto Lynx.
Reda heading it right into the hands of Zagar. As you said, it could have been trouble. But Theo's got very, very sure hands. And he reads the play very well. DiPlacido with the turnover. Vinovich.
Hold him!
Lloyd Barker. Lots of change of possession here. Here's Jocelyn Waugh, the substitute. Of course, Darren Tilley to Waugh, who usually plays forward. Great switch. Montreal trying to attack. Patrice Bernier.
And not a bad cross. I thought Darren Tilley was going to get on the end of that.
Strong defensive move by Milan Kojic. Advances, but unfortunately his pass.
Really, in that instance, should have just held on to the ball. Maybe gone for a run. No sense playing it forward.
Yellow. Nice challenge there by Lloyd Barker. Montreal throw in. Stoppage in play now. And we got some subs. Limniadis, the captain.
And Saladopoulos coming in.
Good young player for the Montreal Impact. And one of the veterans out, John Limniadis, as we mentioned, a veteran of the Canadian national team, as well as the Montreal Impact, has been around for the Impact since 1993. So knows exactly the program, and that's why he's the captain.
Looks like Montreal's just trying to shoot from anywhere. I'm surprised with the saves that Zagar's made today. It's got to be better than that.
Bernier not even close on that strike. And Zagar, of course, with the goal kick. Bernier with a nice tight control, but unfortunately Montreal lose it. Nice little touch there. David DiPlacido with the side of his foot.
Touch.
And there's Arango, Colombian Arango with a cross.
And Barker's there. He's just going to let it run.
Jocelyn Roy couldn't get control of it, and Barker's got the throw in. Nebojsa Vinovich. And as you can hear by that soundbite, Montreal Impact not liking that call, as Toronto with the throw in. And we have a corner kick for the Toronto Lynx.
They're just taking their time now, Scott. They're in no hurry at all.
And in an earlier game here at Varsity, the Toronto Lynx juniors bombed Buffalo Juniors by a score of, get this, 13-0. They are now 4-0 in the Super Y League. Great development league for the A-League 2000.
That's Scott, what a great concept that is, to have a youth team to prepare these players to play in this league. Great for the young players and great for the Toronto Lynx eventually.
Aaron Benjamin, newly signed Aaron Benjamin is coming in, and Arango. His name is Juan Arango, but of course he just likes to be known as Arango. The Colombian out, hasn't done a lot, hasn't needed to do a lot, Helen, let's face it, with Dos Santos up front as his partner.
Yeah, I think you'll find that Arango picks it up a notch when Dos Santos a little low, and same with Dos Santos. He picks it up when Arango's a little low. And there's a miss kick there. Very, very good run. Probably should have tried to get the ball to him a little sooner.
And of course called offside. So it's Montreal's free kick. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely offside. Just took him a second too long to get the ball over to him, and unfortunately that's all it takes to be offside.
Nice challenge there. And Toronto, boy, that looked like a handball to me.
That definitely looked like a handball.
Brian Ashton pushing it wide right. Very nicely done, actually, and Nicky Vinovich gets control of the ball, and he's got a lot of wide open space.
Oh, yeah, he's got to just take his time right now. Maybe not. I'm surprised he didn't just pop that right to his right-hand side. There was an open man there.
And instead of letting the ball out, of course, Montreal takes the ball and scoots it up. Darren Tilley keeps it on the ground. Mauro Biello. Ashton right there, though. Good turn by Biello as he punches it to the right.
Nice turn by
Patrice Bernier is a nice turn.
Yeah, it's a great turn.
Called offside. Here's a look at Milan Kojic, 23-year-old, has played in several countries around the world. A Hamilton native, 6'2", and boy, he is so strong in the air and on the ground.
And composed. He's got it all. He's got the whole package. I really think he does a great job back there. And everything starts with your sweeper. The whole flow of the game begins with your sweeper, and he does such a good job taking control back there, organizing his defense, and playing the ball through his defenders and through the midfield.
Brian Ashton wins the ball back for Toronto. Vinovich.
I like to see that. I like to see a player that loses possession but gets back in there and wins it back. Never gave up.
Tilly. Nice move there. Jocelyn Waugh gets a little break and punches it to Darko. Darko Kolic can't quite come up with it. And there's your sweeper. Nice move there to make it a throw-in as opposed to a corner kick.
Yeah, that's really all he could do with it there. There's no options for him. You got to play it safe when you're in those positions.
Stathopoulos to Jocelyn Waugh. Tries to go around the defender.
That's a great cross by Waugh.
Nick DeSantis can't quite get on the end of it. There's a look at Jocelyn Waugh, one of the substitutes here in the second half. Let's take another look at that. Shows some speed here, too. A nice little move.
Oh, yes. He's added a little spark to the Montreal offense. Gets that just before it goes out.
And look who's there, though, Brian Ashton.
Brian Ashton is everywhere today, Scott. He's been all over that field.
He's had a really good start of the year.
And against Regina, he was the MVP. Had a great game against Regina. Has played very consistently throughout the season.
And here's another substitution. Lloyd Barker, Laria Adjeti. Very interesting story for this young man. He's from Ghana originally and was found in the Ontario Soccer League just playing last year and was so impressed. The staff of the Toronto Lynx so impressed by his skill, brought him up, and sure enough, he's been substituted on several occasions and done very well for the Toronto Lynx with just very little time left in the clock.
How exciting for Adjeti to get noticed like that.
Absolutely.
And great for the Lynx, too. It's always nice to find those players. And that's a great turn. What a nice little touch.
Nice play by Brian Ashton. And we are in the final 2 minutes of the game here. Toronto Lynx up 3-0. Looking to go 6-0-1, and I think pretty much it's going to happen. Good for them.
And 4 points for a win, Scott.
And they'll get that extra point. In fact, it's a 5-point win because they've got 3 goals. That's an extra little bonus for any team that scored 3 goals or more in the league in one game. They get an extra point, so that's 5 points, and that's that's going to really help out. That's going to help out at the end of the year for sure. Saru to Ashton.
Toronto's just going to slow it down now.
Deep
And
Lucia
what
with
a
a
nice
beautiful.
ball.
Ajeta. He could have walked that one in. Or was that Benjamin?
So much for slowing it down.
My apologies, Aaron Benjamin. That was a beautiful little play by the newly signed Toronto Lynx player. Played at the University of Maine at one point and also played with the Edmonton Drillers. Let's take another look. That was a very well-placed ball, and look at the speed on Benjamin. That's why they signed him.
Oh, what a nice touch. Just touches it by the keeper.
He could have walked that one in, and it's 4-0. Wow, what a display by the Toronto Lynx.
Disappointing for the Montreal Impact, definitely.
But Toronto taking advantage of all the opportunities needed.
It's funny, every time I've thought that they would slow it down, they just keep going.
In the 89th minute, there he is, Mr. Aaron Benjamin, recently signed about 2 weeks ago for the Toronto Lynx.
He's got to be happy with that.
He's represented Canada in the under-17s, actually at the World Youth Championships in Ecuador. So he's played at a high level as a youth, and now he's doing it in the A-League.
Scored by number 16, Aaron Benjamin. The goal was scored in the 89th minute. Aaron Benjamin.
Nothing like taking the wind out of the Montreal Impact sails.
Well, really not much else they can do now.
I think all they have to do is keep Zagar's blank sheet, because if that happens, then his goals against average it's just going to get lower, and he's already second in the league as best
and well
goals
deserved.
Against. Absolutely. Good challenge there by Zagar, easily scooped up. Nebojsa Vinovich to his brother, younger brother, Nicky.
I think Brian Ashton has had the most time on the ball than any other player.
Speaking of time, that is the end of time. And our player of the game, of course, Francisco dos Santos of Brazil. 3 goals. A fantastic display by the Brazilian. And we'll be back right after this.
Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
Congratulations! You finally made it.
Thanks.
So, you got your whole life ahead of you. What are you gonna do now?
Well, thought about working. Looked into retirement. Looks good.
Well, here's the first one, and the little dynamo. Dos Santos just clips it over the keeper. Keeper perhaps a little bit out of his net, but there's the goal. There's the first one. Deflated the Montreal defenders. Deflated the whole entire Montreal team. And here we go with the second goal. This is just a cracker. Takes his time, looks up, sees the keeper, and no problem. Top corner. No chance by the keeper. He added a third to get a hat trick for the day.
Beautiful, comprehensive win, as we said. We'll be back with a final word right after this.